Welcome again, learners. As I promised in our last lesson, I'm going to proceed in this lesson with an example on how to calculate quartiles. That is upper quartile, second quartile, and third quartile. So allow me to rub here. I'm going to write the example on the board here. Then we will work out the example. Let me write my example here on the board. Example. The table below, let me just do away this, away with that. This is an example. Example. The table below shows the distribution of heights, to the nearest centimeter of 40 students. So we have height in centimeters, 145 to 149, 150 to 154, 155 to 159, 160 to 164, 165 to 169, 170 to 174, 175 to 179. Then we have the frequency. Frequency, 5 students, 16 students, 9 students, 5 students, 2 students, and 1 student. So that is the distribution. Let me use my blue pen. Blue. This is example. The table below shows the distribution of heights to the nearest centimeter of 40 students. So we have centimeters in groups of 145 to 149, 150 to 154, 155 to 159, 160 to 164, 165 centimeters to 169 centimeters, 170 centimeters to 174 centimeters, 175 centimeters to 179 centimeters. That means that between 145 to 149 centimeters, there are 2 students that whose height is falling within that category, that group. Then 5 students' height is between 150 centimeters and 154 centimeters. 16 students measure 155 to 159 centimeters. 9 students measure between 160 centimeters to 164 centimeters. 5 students' height is between 165 centimeters and 169 centimeters. Then 2 students' height lies between 170 centimeters and 174 centimeters. And lastly, 1 student's height is between 175 to 179 centimeters. So what are we required to calculate? We are required to calculate the median first. Calculate A, median, B, lower quartile, and C, upper quartile. Upper quartile. That is the question. Let's have the answer. You are going to answer this question. Answer. So first we'll have the height, one column. We are going to put this data into columns, two columns. We have 145 to 149, 150 to 154, 155 to 159, 160 to 164, 165 to 169, 170 to 174, 175 to 179. Then frequency we have 2, 5, 16, 9, 5, 2 and 1. 2 and 1. So learners, in calculating the median, we require, from this formula, we require the lower class boundary, we require the total frequency from this formula. We are going to need also the cumulative frequency, the frequency and the class interval, the cumulative frequency. So let us first cumulate. This is cumulative frequency. The cumulative frequency, we have 2 plus 5, 7, 7 plus 16, 23, 23 plus 9, 32, 32 plus 5, 37, 37 plus 2, 39, 39 plus 1, 40. And we saw that the total number of students are 40. So this is the total frequency is 40. So median, let's first calculate median. Median, A, median. We have seen that median is equal to lower class boundary plus 1 over 2 n, a half n, okay, minus c over f times the class interval, So this will be equal to, so learners, the first calculation we need to do is to get the a half item, which is equal to a half times 40, that is the 20th student. That is the 20th student. The 20th student lies, the 20th student, because this is a half of 40. A half of 40 will give us the 20th student. The 20th student. So we need to find out, where does the 20th student fall? The 20th student falls in this class. Because falls in this class, sorry, supposed to be this class. The 20th student falls in the class where we have 23 cumulatively. That is 155 to 159. Okay, this class 155 to 159, this class is where the 20th student lie, because the 20th student cannot lie here in this class or here. 20th student is within this cumulative class of 155 to 159. So the cumulative, the median class in this case now becomes the median class. Median class is 155 to 159. 155 to 159, this is the median class. That is step number 1. You calculate get half of the total frequency. That will help you identify the median class, because we need this median class to be able to determine the lower class boundary of the median class. L is the lower class boundary of the median class. So what is the class boundary here? This is class limit. We need to calculate class boundary. Class boundary, the lower class boundary, we simply deduct 0.5 from 155, and this will be equal to 154.5. We deduct 0.5 from 155, that will give us 154.5. So the lower class boundary is equal to 154.5. 154.5, then we add, going to add a half of n, which we saw is 20. So we have 20 minus the cumulative frequency above the median class. If this is the median class, then the cumulative frequency above it will be 7. So 7 is the cumulative frequency above this median class. So the cumulative frequency above the median class is equal to 7. Then we get the frequency of the median class. The frequency of the median class, this frequency here is 16. Frequency of the median class is equal to 16. What else? We need to calculate to determine the class interval of the median class. Class interval of the median class. So learners, we are going to get the class interval of the median class. Remember here we used the class boundary. We have the lower class boundary. We need to determine the upper class boundary. The upper class boundary, then getting the difference, we'll have the class interval. So here we have this 159, we'll add 159.5. The lower class limit, we deduct 0.5. The upper class limit, we add 0.5, giving us 154.5. That is 155 minus 0.5 will give us 154.5. Then on the upper class limit, we add 0.5 to get 159.5. So to calculate the class interval, we get the difference between 159.5 and 154.5. 159.5 minus 154.5, which is equal to 5. So 5 here is the class interval. 5 is the class interval. Now the rest, learners, is the work of the machine. Okay, we will use the machine here. That is 20 minus 7 divided by 16 times 5 plus 154.5. This is equal to 158.56 563 is the median. That is the median, 158.563. How about the lower quartile? Let's calculate the lower quartile, B, the lower quartile, Q1. Q1, what's the formula? The formula is L plus 1 over 4n minus C over F times I, where L is the lower class boundary of the first quartile class, then N is the total frequency, C is the cumulative frequency above the first quartile class, F is the frequency of the first quartile class, I is the class interval, the class interval. So first we need to determine 1 over 4 times n, which is equal to 1 over 4 times 40, which is equal to 10. 4 goes here once, 4 goes here 10 times. So the 10th item, or the 10th student, where does the 10th student lie in this cumulative frequency? The 10th student will lie in this class of 155 to 159. So the first quartile class is 155 to 159. That is the first quartile class, the lower quartile class, 155 to 159. This will now help us calculate the cumulative frequency. So, and also the lower class boundary. The lower class boundary here will be 154.5, just like the other case, 154.5 plus 10, a half of n is 10, minus cumulative frequency above the first quartile class. The cumulative frequency here is 7, okay, over frequency of first quartile class, frequency of the first quartile class, this is first quartile class, is equal to 16. So I'll have 16 there. Then we multiply by the class interval. The class interval here, learners, is going to be 154.5 to 159.5. The difference between 159.5 and 154.5 is equal to 5. So the rest is the work of the machine. The machine will give us the answer here. So I'll have 10 minus 7 divided by 16 times 5 plus 154. So the answer here is 155.437. That is the lower quartile. Lower quartile. Let's move on to the upper quartile. The upper quartile candidates. The upper, this is C, you're answering C. C, the upper quartile, Q3, is equal to the lower class boundary plus 3 over 4n minus C over F times I. So first we'll calculate the 3 over 4 times 40, which is equal to 30. So the 30th student, where does the 30th student lie? This will help us get the third quartile class. 30th student will lie here. So the 30th, the third quartile class will be 160 to 164. 160 to 164. Therefore, the boundary will be 160. The lower class boundary 160 minus 0.5 is equal to 159.5. The upper will be 164.5. So I'll come here and insert the values. We have 159.5 plus 3 over 4 times n is equal to 30 minus cumulative frequency above the third quartile class. Cumulative frequency above this class is equal to 23. Come here and write 23 divided by the frequency of the third quartile class. The frequency of the third quartile class is equal to 9. All right. Come here and write 9. Then times the interval. The class interval will be the difference between these two, which is equal to 5. So the rest, the machine. Okay. Work of the machine. This will be equal to 30 divided by 23 minus 23 divided by 9 times 5 plus 159.5. So the answer here is 163.388. That is the upper quartile. The upper quartile. So we have calculated the upper quartile, learners, and that will mark the end of our today's lesson. Mark the end of our today's lesson. But I'm looking for your assignment, learners. I want you to go and have this assignment done. Assignment. The exercise is 2.2. Go and do question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 1 up to question 4. Question 1 up to question 4. Go and attempt. This one is requiring median and quartiles, median, lower and upper quartiles. So that is your assignment. This is students book 4. Go and do exercise 2.2, question 1 up to 4 only. Thank you for attending. I hope to meet you in our next class. Bye-bye.